Welcome to the Valencia, York's premier ballroom. Originally constructed as Schellenberger's Coliseum Ballroom and Convention Hall, it was operated by various managers for 17 years, from 1911 to 1928. The spring-loaded hardwood dance floor is original to the 1911 property. Windows line the side of the dance floor, and the ceiling was open-framed. A small stage was located on the side of the ballroom to accommodate the six-piece jazz bands, which were the craze of the era. In 1928, the Tassia family bought the building. They planned to construct a modern cold storage plant for their neighboring fruit, vegetable, and meat market. Plans changed, and the family decided to continue the operation of the ballroom. After 3 months of remodeling, the Valencia opened December 5, 1928. Sadie Tassia was one of 8 siblings who formed a business partnership in 1922. Miss Sadie became the head of the Tassia entertainment empire at the Valencia, with her brother Steve as the assistant manager. On May 2, 1929, the newly formed Blue Moon Orchestra played for the first time at the Valencia. On May 17, 1929, the Blue Moon performed for the first Friday night student hop. At a cost of 25 cents, Friday night hops at the Valencia was the place to be. The Blue Moon became the Valencia's house orchestra and would perform a total of 921 shows in the ballroom. In 1931, air conditioning was installed to cool those hot summer dances. This made the Valencia the first air-conditioned ballroom in America. Here is one of the 4 units that were needed. 100 tons of refrigeration was supplied by York Manufacturing Company. Portions of these original cooling units are now in the York Industrial Museum. The Valencia became more popular with every dance. In 1934, more extensive renovations were made. In just 90 days, the ballroom was completely redecorated in a Spanish motif, in keeping with the Valencia's name. 14 oil paintings depicting life in Valencia, Spain were added to the ballroom walls. The floor-to-ceiling paintings were commissioned in New York at a cost of $10,000. Here is the Blue Moon Orchestra with one of the paintings. The front of the original Coliseum was completely removed and replaced with a state-of-the-art facility. The new ballroom was equipped with a larger sound and lighting system. Every available modern convenience was installed. A new soda fountain was installed to provide customers with maximum service during the rush and intermission. The new lobby had a sophisticated cloakroom. For 10 cents, one of 6 attendants could check up to 1,750 coats, umbrellas, galoshes, and hats. On the second floor, the Blue Room was added. This room could be separated from the ballroom and was used for smaller private parties or banquets. A small sandwich shop was added to the right of the lobby. This would become the original location for the Rainbow Grill. The present location of the Rainbow Grill was excavated with plans to add bowling alleys. These plans were changed when it became necessary to add more table space for the growing amount of patrons. On March 27, 1937, the new Rainbow Room was opened, giving the Valencia table space to accommodate up to 1,000 people at one time. The Rainbow Room remained part of the Valencia until March of 1938. Under separate management, the Rainbow Grill, Restaurant and Grill Room was officially opened May 25, 1938. Throughout the 30s, the Valencia hosted countless banquets, conventions, dances, and meetings. The Knights Templar State Convention Dance, May 25, 1937. The York Ice Machinery Exposition, held January 11th through the 13th, 1938. The Lion State Convention Banquet and Dance, June 14th, 1938. The Policeman's Ball, February 4th, 1939. And of course, the Valencia also provided the greatest big band entertainers of the day with such names as Artie Shaw, Benny Goodman, Cab Calloway, Duke Ellington, Glenn Miller, Guy Lombardo, Jimmy Dorsey, Ozzie Nelson, Paul Whiteman, Tommy Dorsey, Kay Kaiser, just to name a few. Valencia's trolley party on January 27, 1939, marked the end of the trolley era in York. During its peak in 1923, York Railways Company trolley cars carried nearly 11 million passengers. All previous attendance records were broken on Friday, March 3, 1939. Over 2,500 people packed the Valencia to see Kay Kaiser's orchestra. The man on stage in a black suit is Stephen Tassia. In later years, Steve would recall this moment as one of the happiest days of his life. The Valencia remained strong throughout the 40s. During the war, the ballroom hosted war bond rallies, USO dances, private parties, and an occasional big band. During the early to mid-50s, big bands became less popular and the Valencia began a steady decline. Big bands have been replaced by radio, television, and rock and roll. In June of 1960, the Valencia was officially closed. The Valencia would sit dark and silent for the next 13 years.